So by the end of this video, you're gonna know the 10 things that every smart YouTuber uses Claude AI for, and you'll be able to do all 10 yourself today using prompts that I'm gonna be giving you away for free. And this is coming from someone who owns a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers. Last year, I made $477,000 in AdSense, and my community members have collectively generated over $100 million in results from YouTube. So I'm not guessing here. These are the exact workflows that I run on my own channel, and they're the ones that turn an upload from a full day of work into about 30 minutes. And here's what most people don't get. Claude is not just an AI. It's the closest thing that you'll ever get to hiring a senior level employee for 20 bucks a month. One who can write your descriptions, find your video ideas, script your hooks, and do about 90% of the heavy lifting on your YouTube channel, and it never sleeps. And I'm gonna show you all 10 of these things on my actual screen and point you to some of the free tools that you can download in the pinned comment and the description below. And make sure you watch until the very end because the last one is a strategic move that almost nobody talks about. So if you appreciate me making this type of content and you want me to make more of it in the future, then let me know by gently tapping that like button, and let's dive into it right now. All right, so number one is what I call the description machine. And this is the easiest win on the entire list, so we're gonna go ahead and start here. Now, here's the deal. Almost nobody writes a good YouTube description because honestly, it's boring, right? But a solid SEO optimized description tells YouTube AI exactly what your video is about, which means that it's way easier for YouTube to actually show it to the right person. And this is especially important for a small channel, right? For a small channel, this matters a lot because when YouTube doesn't know what your video is about, it's not just gonna blast it out to millions of people, right? If it doesn't know who your audience is and what your video is about and what your channel is about, it's gonna drip feed it out to people until it finally figures that out. And the faster it figures that out, the faster it's gonna be able to promote your channel to more people. So instead of staring at a blank box for 20 minutes, you can let Claude do it in about 20 seconds. Now you might be thinking this is overkill for a small channel, right? And I hear that one all the time, but it's actually the opposite. The smaller you are, the more these little signals matter. Think of it like hiring a translator, right? You speak human. YouTube's algorithm speaks keywords and context. Claude sits in the middle and translates your video into the exact language that the algorithm wants to hear so that nothing gets lost between what you made and what YouTube understands. All right, so now I'm gonna take you into the screen and we're gonna show you exactly what to do here. Step one, inside your YouTube studio, open your uploaded video, right? I'm assuming that your video is already uploaded. Then you want to scroll to the description, click more, go to the bottom and click show transcript. Then select plus copy the whole transcript. Step two, switch to your Claude tab, paste the transcript in, then either type or just screenshot the prompt. It's a lot easier to screenshot it and hit enter. Then you can just go ahead and copy and paste it into the description box below and make sure that you put it below your top links, right? Because you always want to put your top links at the very top of the description. Another way of saying this is above the fold, or it's going to be visible even if you don't click see more. Then go ahead and save. Hey, quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training this week on how to start a YouTube channel step-by-step for beginners. This is going to be for people who want to start a channel, but they don't know what niche to pick, what videos to make, or how to actually get started the right way. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at the training. So just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator. This is going to be available both for ChatGPT as well as Claude, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss it. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me, and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you in there. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below, put it in your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link because we might be having workshops in the future as well. And you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. Now, if you want to take this a step further, you can also make timestamps. Now, that is one of those topics where there's a lot of subtlety to it. Sometimes with some types of channels, it's a good idea to make timestamps. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's a good idea to make timestamps, but only in a certain way. So I'm not going to cover that in this video just because of the fact that one, it's not necessary, but two, there's a lot of subtlety to it and it really depends. With that being said, let's move to section number 2, which is the title tab. Now, if I had to pick the single highest leverage thing on this list, it might be this one because your title decides whether anyone clicks at all on the video. Now, here's what most people do. They write one title, they kind of like it, I guess, and then they hit publish, and that's it. That's like a boxer throwing one punch the whole fight and just hoping that it lands. Smart YouTubers are gonna throw 10 punches at least. They're gonna generate a bunch of different title options, and then they're gonna pick the strongest one. And Claude can easily spit out 10 solid SEO-friendly titles with the main keyword near the front in seconds. Now, I like to call this the Moneyball method. Not gonna get too deep on that in this video, but I have talked about it in other videos. But basically, you want your title to be browse friendly so that if it shows up on the home page, people are likely to click on it. But if it doesn't show up on the home page for whatever reason, it's still SEO friendly as well, meaning it will very likely show up in search. And here's the key, because this is where people mess up, right? The keyword goes near the front, but the title still has to be attractive enough that a human actually wants to click, right? So keyword stuff titles that nobody clicks are useless. So I do not want you to over keyword stuff the title. That's a mistake that a lot of people make, because then it is not browse friendly. Nobody's going to click on a title that has way too many keywords if they see it on the home page. But Claude can balance both. So you're going to want to open Claude, you're going to want to type the prompt below or just screenshot it like I said, and you're going to want to do it with a real topic and audience. And when the 10 scored titles appear, scroll slowly so the scores and reasoning are visible, then point out your favorite and say why it won. Oh, and quick bonus that saved me probably 10 to 20 million views over the years. Once you pick your title, make it your video's file name before you upload, right? So title and file name should match. And on top of that, make it your thumbnail's file name as well, right? Title and file name matching is a massive SEO signal that most people completely ignore. Now, in order to pick a title, you need to have a good video idea. In order to have good video ideas, you need to have a good niche. And a lot of people think that they found their niche, but the truth is there's probably 500 or maybe even 5,000 sub niches within your niche. And so if you haven't found your niche yet, or you haven't dialed your niche in, then definitely click the link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend my free live training. This will be a live training this week, which is dedicated to helping you find or dial in your niche. And we'll actually be giving away an in-house AI tool that we built that was trained on thousands of hours of us coaching our community members to help them find their ideal niches. All right, section 3 is the pinned comment closer. And we do this on every single video, every single time, the second it goes live, no exceptions ever. Now, here's why this is so powerful. Not everyone reads your description, right? But almost everybody reads the comments. In fact, that is oftentimes the very first thing that people do when they click on a video. They just scroll down to the comments immediately. So your pinned comment is prime real estate. It's where you put your most important links, your call to action, and your questions that get people talking. So it's kind of like the host at a restaurant. The second you walk in, they greet you, point you toward the bar, or point you towards a table, and they get you chatting. Your pinned comment does the exact same thing. It greets every viewer and points them where you want them to go, and that starts a conversation with them. And when people reply to your pinned comment, that is engagement. And you want this engagement especially directly after you upload a video. And of course, you can even reply back to their comments, which counts as engagement too, and then they might reply again to your reply, which is even more engagement. Now, you might notice in my pinned comments, I don't really try to get engagement anymore, and that's just simply because I have a bigger channel and I don't need it. But when I first started my channel, I would almost always get people to engage with my content. Because if somebody clicks on a video, they go down to the comments section and it's a complete ghost town, there's a very good chance they're just gonna click off. Okay, so here's how we do this. In Claude, type the prompt below with your topic and CTA. Then when it generates, you can go ahead and copy and paste it once your video is live. And then you wanna go ahead and pin the comment. All right, section 4 is the comment army. Now this is very closely related to section 3, but it's a little bit different, right? And here's the strategy. For the first hour after you upload, you respond to as many comments as you can. Why? Because every person you reply to gets a notification, that little red bell that's on the top right of the screen. And a lot of them come right back to your video. And over time, people learn that when you upload, you're actually there. When your content actually goes live into an event, right? You're replying, you're hanging out, you're literally in the comments with them. So they start showing up the second you go live, and it's kind of like a show or an event or a party, right? And I actually recommend not just replying to comments on the video that just went live, but replying to all of your comments around that time. Because again, if any of them are online, they're gonna see that you replied to their comment and they're gonna go to your channel and they're gonna check out your new upload. Now, replying to a ton of comments fast is hard. So here's what you can do. You can draft a bunch of responses with Claude. You can think of it like a chef with prep stations. A great kitchen does not cook every single dish from raw when the order comes in. they've got components of the dish ready to go, so they can plate it really fast, right? And Claude preps your responses so that you can plate them the second the comments roll in. Now, you're not copy and pasting robotic replies. That is the opposite of the point. You feed Claude the actual comments and it can write personalized human responses, and then you can fire them off in seconds, or you can tweak them a little bit and then fire them off. Also, pro tip here is you can screenshot multiple comments at once. You don't just have to do one at a time, and you can just tell it to reply to all of them. Now, let me show you exactly how to do this. You want to copy a handful of the real comments on one of your videos, then you can either screenshot them or paste them into Claude. And then of course, you're going to want to use this prompt that I'm putting on the screen. Easiest way to do it is just to screenshot it and then put that in Claude as well. And then you can just copy the specific tailored reply. If you like it, then post it. If you don't, you can modify it just a little bit. If you're not liking the replies, you can literally just talk to Claude and have it interview you and then talk back to it until you actually do like the replies and they sound like you. All right, section 5 is the idea goldmine. And this is where it gets really good because this is the closest thing to a cheat code that exists on YouTube. And here is a truth that literally took me years to learn. The video idea is about 90% of whether a video succeeds or not. It's not the editing, it's not the camera, it's not the fancy set, it's the idea. So if you pick the right idea, everything else can be mediocre and the video is gonna win still. If you pick the wrong idea, you can have everything else being top tier and the video is almost certainly still going to flop. Smart YouTubers do not brainstorm ideas out of thin air. They find proven ones, right? Ideas that already worked for other channels in their space that they can put their own spin on. Now, this is not going to be the generic, oh, just copy other channels type advice, because that's what you might be thinking. Oh, this is just copying other people, right? First of all, we use what's known as the icon method, where you're going to find videos that came from a small channel that were objectively either mediocre or preferably bad, and yet they still got a lot of views. And then you're only going to copy one thing and one thing only, and that is the idea of the video, right? You're not stealing the video, you're studying what the audience already proved that they want, and then you're just making it better. So stop guessing what to film. The proof is sitting right there in your niche, so go use it. So it's kind of like gold mining, right? The amateurs wander around digging random holes, hoping to get lucky. The pros study the terrain, find where the gold has already been found, and dig there, right? So you're not guessing, you're just going where the proof already is. And Claude can help you analyze a pile of top performing video titles from your niche and pull out the patterns, the angles, the formats, the hooks that keep working. So this is what you want to do. Grab 20 to 30 titles from top videos from a few channels in your niche. Ideally, you'd want to find them from smaller channels, like I said before, but just to get started, you can just pull the top videos in your niche and then just copy and paste all of those into Claude with the prompt below. Then when the new ideas generate, just go ahead and pick one or two that you like. So I like these ones right here. And then you can do it again and you could make enough content for an entire month if you want. And that right there is a content calendar built on proof instead of hope. And by the way, I actually made some free tools to make this even easier because I know this is a bit of a simplified process. And you can download those free tools by clicking the link in the description and the pinned comment below. So those are going to be Claude skills. But I just want you to realize that the idea is like 90% of the success of a video, right? Get that right and everything else gets easy. All right, number 6 is the hook factory, because your first 15 seconds decide everything. You can have the best video ever made, but if the hook is weak, nobody's gonna stick around to see it, right? The hook is the bouncer at the door. It decides who gets in and who walks away. So smart YouTubers don't just write one hook and hope. They generate a few angles and they pick the strongest one. I personally, for almost every single script I do, generate 3 to 5 hooks. Some of the most common ones that I like to use are a shock stat opening, a contrarian myth-busting angle, or what I like to call the credibility plus promise hook. And Claude can write all 3 off of a single sentence about your video. So now, for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to go too deep into how this works. Again, if you want to dive deeper on this, just go ahead and attend my live training. Click the link in the description, the pinned comment below. But just go ahead and screenshot and or type the prompt below with a real video topic. Then when the 3 hooks generate, I like to actually just read all 3 of them out loud and just see which one has more of an emotional resonance with me. Now, if you don't like them, you can tell Claude exactly what you don't like about them and have it redo it. But I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the title and the hook, Claude is likely going to be better than 99% of you at writing those 2 things. So I'd probably just go with what they say and just pick your favorite one. All right, number 7 is going to be the clip hunter, okay? So this one basically doubles your content. And the best thing is it does it off of work that you've already done. Now, I've done this on my channel where I just took a random clip from my YouTube channel, edited it almost automatically using tools like Opus, and then threw it up on my Instagram and it got over 1 million views. So every long video that you make is sitting on top of 3 or 4 shorts that you haven't cut yet. And the problem is finding the right moment, the punchy standalone clips that actually work on their own. And that is very tedious to do by hand. So you can let Claude hunt them for you. So think of it like panning a river for gold nuggets. The whole river is your transcript, but you only want the golden nuggets, right? There's probably about 30 to 60 seconds seconds out of the entire 20-minute video that can pop on their own. And Claude can sift through the whole thing and hand you just the gold. And it doesn't just find the moments, it can even write an extra hook for each short as well. So go ahead and select a video. So you want to copy and paste the transcript with timestamps. Then you want to paste the full transcript into Claude. Then it's going to tell you the 3 moments that it really likes, and it's going to tell you the exact timestamps to make it super easy for you. Then you can mention these timestamps and go straight to your editor. We like using Descript just as an example, but you can use any editor that you want. And then it'll be very easy to edit just these moments. Okay, so number 8 is the SEO multiplier. So every single video you make can also be a blog post that ranks on Google. And you're leaving that on the table right now. And this is something that can really help, especially when you have a small channel. Now, is this one necessary? No, it's not necessary. We did this when we first started on YouTube. We stopped doing it after a while. You don't have to do this one, but it helps. And if you have extra time, you probably should do it. And especially if you hired somebody to help you with your YouTube channel, you should definitely be having them do it. So you can turn your YouTube video into a blog post that then points back to your YouTube video and gets you more views. So basically this prompt is going to make your YouTube video into an SEO friendly article, and that's going to rank on Google. People are going to find that, click on it, and then you can embed your YouTube video into that article, or just have them click on the article and go to your YouTube channel. Now you might be thinking, I'm not a writer, and you don't have to be, okay? That's the entire point. Claude is the writer now. Claude is the SEO expert. You're just the one who hits publish. So you want to paste your transcript into Claude, click enter, and it will make that video into an article for you. And it's a real article that has a structured post with headings, and it's not just a crappy AI slop wall of text. All right, number 9 is the thumbnail whisperer, because the words on your thumbnail can make or break the click. Now, most people slap whatever text they want on the thumbnail and move on. But what you wanna make sure is, first of all, the text on the thumbnail is actually good. And second of all, and this is the most important thing that I see people overlook all the time, it's congruent with your title. Now, another big mistake that I see people make is they actually just put their title as the text on their thumbnail. That's a terrible idea. Do not do that. So I'm saying that the thumbnail text and the title text should be congruent, but not the same, right? So they should be 2 different arrows that are pointing in the same direction. Now, Claude is pretty good at coming up with thumbnail title text. It's also pretty good at telling you how to create your thumbnail, but it's not good at actually creating the thumbnail itself, at least not at this point. In fact, some of the other AI models, if I'm being honest, are significantly better, right? Gemini and ChatGPT at the time of recording this video are significantly better at generating thumbnails than Claude. And there's even specific AI tools that are dedicated to this, such as oneof10.com and Pixels. But what Claude is good at is telling you what to put in the thumbnail, right? Like making a rough sketch of it, telling you what words to put in the thumbnail, making sure that your thumbnail is congruent with the title, and telling you the visuals that you can put in your thumbnail as well, right? So just a rough draft sketch of it. And here's how you can find that. Type and/or screenshot the prompt below. And typically it's a good idea to put your title in, plus a thumbnail concept that you like. Then it's going to give you 5 options, and you can just pick the strongest one. And again, if you are not an expert on YouTube, it is simply going to do a better job than you are. I'm just being honest. Now, what you can do is you can actually just pick these concepts and you can upload them into something like ChatGPT or Gemini, and then you can upload pictures of yourself. And in many cases, it'll actually create a decent thumbnail, but that is a little bit more complicated and it's kind of out of the scope of this video. But number 10 is the one that almost nobody talks about, and that is the business brain. See, everything up to now has been tasks. We're talking descriptions, titles, clips, useful stuff, don't get me wrong, but this last one is different, right? This is using Claude not just as a tool, but as a strategist, a business advisor for your channel. And here's what I mean. The most successful people in business don't just grind harder. They think in frameworks. Warren Buffett asks, what's my moat? What's my unfair advantage that competitors can't copy? Charlie Munger asks the genius question, invert. What would guarantee that this channel fails? And then he does the opposite. And then there's Gall's law, which states that every complex system that arises always starts from a simple system that actually worked, which basically means that you should always start off simple, even if you want to build something complex. Just as an example, Airbnb literally just started off as a forum on a website, right? They didn't try to make a perfect product at the very beginning. So you can run your entire channel strategy through Claude using those exact frameworks. And it's kind of like the difference between a line cook and a restaurant owner. The line cook executes orders all day, head down and cranky. But the owner steps back and asks, is this restaurant even in the right location? Is the menu right? What makes this restaurant different than every other restaurant in town? Most YouTubers are line cooks for their own channel. This can help you become the owner. So screenshot or type the prompt below, and this is gonna help you describe your own channel. Then go back and forth with Claude. It's gonna tell you the weaknesses, and I highly recommend that you kind of just go back and forth with it for a little bit until you understand all of those questions. Now, this is a very simplified version of the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy. And we dive a lot deeper into this when we're helping our clients launch their YouTube channels or grow their YouTube channels that they already launched. And I know that 99% of you out there are just gonna enjoy my free content, enjoy the prompts, enjoy the free Claude skills, enjoy the live training where I will literally be walking you through exactly how to do this, helping you pick your right niche, helping you monetize that niche all for free, and answering any questions that you have at the very end. Again, link to that in the description in the pinned comment below. And you're never gonna work with us, right? I know 99% of you are just never gonna work with us, but for the 1% of you that will, go ahead and click the link in the description and the pinned comment below to book a call. On this call, we'll figure out where you are right now, where you wanna be, we'll make a plan to get there, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not. The typical types of people that we work with are business owners. Very common that we work with online business owners, typically ones that get clients. So we're talking about agencies, coaches, consulting businesses, online service businesses, etc. Also expert businesses as well. But we also work with YouTubers who are getting views, but they're struggling with monetization. And we also work with YouTubers who are crushing it, but they want to crush it even harder. And we also work with certain types of local or localized type business owners. So we're talking law firms, realtors, financial advisors, and cosmetic dentistries. And then finally, the last type of person that we work with is the professional, someone who is very good at what they do. They're an expert. They have a lot of value to give to the world. They can solve problems for other people, and they want to treat YouTube like a business. And that's the thing that all of these different types of clients we work with have in common. They want to treat YouTube like a business. Now, we are very picky about who we work with. We only accept about 18% of the people who apply. And right now we're accepting about 3 to 5 people to work with us. But if that sounds like you, go ahead and click the link in the description in the pinned comment below. And also check out this interview I did with Davis, who we helped fully automate his YouTube channel, and we helped him scale his business to 7 figures. And you can check that out by clicking right here.